King Charles, first official portrait since coronation is unveiled, painted by Jonathan Yore. Right, pin your ears back, because I'm just going to say this outright. This is going to be a rant. Because I feel extremely aggrieved that King Charles has effectively managed to make me an oath breaker. I'm an old-fashioned military man with a love of military history and heroic fantasy, and an oath means a lot to me. I don't tell a lie, nor break an oath lightly, and this man has forced me to do it. Because what I'm going to say now probably goes against the vast majority of military veterans' feelings, and I know my old mate Paz and many other ones who've served in the armed forces are typically royalists, because you do get indoctrinated to some degree when you join the military. And being a conservative-minded person, you don't really mind it, because you do respect tradition and authority and the gift of our forebears and thousands of years of history. So you sort of are a reluctant monarchist, even if you're working class. But I'm officially checking out now. King Baphomet, Lord of the Flies, is not my liege any longer. To be fair, I did sort of cross that bridge when I became an American citizen, but I always had a soft spot for the royal family, until today. Now, the gibbering, jug-eared simpleton, famed for his stupidity, his big lugs, and his appalling taste in women, after he binned an absolute hottie to start sticking his cock in a craggy-faced, horse-looking walnut with a face drawn on it, right? The man has lost all respect from me. And it's not just about the painting. I'm going to tell you why, right now. Okay, this isn't about the painting. This is just the last straw, right? Those of you that pay attention know exactly what's gone on with the British royal family. What they've essentially done is the same thing that the morons, with this rut started by the pasty, double-chinned albino jellyfish rat in a suit Boris Johnson, lecherous, greasy pervert that he is, won power by talking libertarian and conservative, because that's what normal working class people are in the main in the UK. And then as soon as he waddled his fat frame through the door jamb at Downing Street, started doing the same woke shite as everybody else. And then he locked everybody in the house for 2 years, the most illiberal thing anyone can ever do. And he dares call himself Churchillian. The man isn't fit to lick Churchill's toes. And people like me were saying this for years. The normies didn't pay any attention, so they were still riding high in the polls. But we were telling them the Conservative Party is not conservative anymore, and I will see the commies in Downing Street before I ever vote for them again. And this is a man who voted Conservative for about 12 years. Right? For my sins, I voted Labour before that. Like all young people, I was young and daft, and then I grew up, right? But the Conservative Party and me are done, because in a feat of genuine insanity, they truly believed that it was a wise move to take the base for granted, just assume they were always going to vote Conservative, and then start pandering to the far left. People that have always despised them and will always despise them, and the worst of which, if they gain power, would happily guillotine the likes of Boris Johnson, Jacob Rees-Mogg and David Cameron in front of a baying mob at Glastonbury. That's what commies do. They murder people, and they would happily do it. The worst amongst them. That's not hyperbolic. You know it to be true. They are getting increasingly violent all across the Western world, culminating in putting 9 rounds of peace into the guts of the Slovak Prime Minister just a couple of days ago. These people are lunatics, and that is who our leaders started pandering to. Which brings me to King Baphomet, right? Who, in an act of sheer lunacy, appears to be doing the exact same thing, employing the same tactics. What he's doing is he's thinking, I know, I can take all of the Conservatives for granted, all the people who respect tradition and rules and history. They're definitely going to support the monarchy. So what I'll do is, I'll start pandering to communists, and then I'll get them on side as well. No, you won't. They'll swallow your platitudes, then set your house on fire and lop your nut off in front of a cheering crowd, you dopey, jug-eared simpleton. So let's have a look at some more stories before I show you the official portrait, which this moron appears to have paid to paint him, even though the guy is famous for being a lefty arsehole and constantly mocking US conservative politicians. This is how thick he is. Here's another few examples of his blatant, abject stupidity, however. From one of my favourite websites, the iChannel, honest, independent journalism. Yeah, cheers then. King Charles III, quotes that capture his admiration for all the lads who are regulars at Alan's snack bar. Yep, he absolutely loves them, and Jamil tells you why. He said that wonderful religion he so admires refuses to separate man and nature, religion and science, mind and matter, and has preserved a metaphysical and unified view of ourselves and the world around us. Yeah, it preserves things via the medium of flying jet planes into them at 800 miles an hour, covering them in jet fuel and bursting them into flames live on television. Great way of preserving things. Yeah, you are Bob on there, Charles. Well done, son. And here's one that'll please the watermelon communists from Hello, our Eco King. 6 positive things King Charles has done for the planet. The late Queen Elizabeth's son has dedicated his life to campaigning for the environment. Oh yeah, but one caveat. He can still eat sirloin steak and fly 235 times a year, but you, plumber from Leeds, you can't fly the kids to Spain once a year because the planet's important, don't you know? And you have to eat the cricket paste and shut up and eat the lettuce and get outside and sweep my steps, you oik, you scruffy, pot-bellied, foul-smelling northern scum. That's what Prince Charles thinks of you. Sorry, King, not my king. Not my king. And onto the portrait, right? This is the best bit. Right, there it is. You've all seen it. It's absolutely shocking. Makes him look like Beelzebub's rent boy or something, right? You've all seen that. But here's the interesting bit. If you start doing things with it, like copy and paste it and stick it together, or even worse, flip it upside down, look at some of the images people have made on the internet and tell me this wasn't on purpose. AllSides.com reports that his official portrait has a distinctly satanic vibe, yeah? What's that in the middle? Weird that, innit? Looks almost like a demon from the pits of hell. How strange. An even better one, if you do 4 of them and flip it upside down, look at this one. I think they've doctored that one a little bit, but that is amazing. That's amazing. It's like Damien from The Omen painted it. Someone asked him to paint Daddy, and that's what he came up with. So, to sum up, it was thick enough. Oh yeah, and the artist that I've told you about, anyone who did a Google search would know what he's all about. I can't zoom in too close to any of that, because then you'll get banned. It's like pornography. But essentially, in a way to mock conservative US politicians, Jonathan Yeo started making pornographic collages of people like Sarah Palin, George Bush, and other conservative figures, just as a way to rub the right nose in it and mock them on an international stage. So we know what Jonathan Yeo's all about. We do, because we aren't morons, but King Charles doesn't, because the sausage-fingered monarch has got the IQ of a pull-along duck. So, to sum up, let's get rid of that. To sum up, I'm now an oath breaker, and I'm angry about it, because Prince Charles has made me one. I refuse to call him the king. The Queen, I was all good with, but when she died, my oath died with it, because she's been replaced by a gibbering, jug-eared, sausage-fingered plank in a suit on a big daft chair. I am officially an ex-monarchist. If they want to cede it to the left, just like everything else, I've gave up everything else because the right are a martial, stoic, strong-willed people. I'll give up everything. They could take everything from me and leave me naked in the streets. I would live off rainwater and hatred before I give these commie dogs a single inch. They can take everything from me. I don't care. They've took all my hobbies. They took Star Wars and The Witcher and Warhammer and all the pop culture things we were into and Doctor Who, and they've got rid of all that and they've consumed it like the parasites they are. And I don't care. I can go back and read everything from the last 2 centuries that interested me instead, long before this toxic, cancerous ideology started gobbling all of these relatively new IPs up anyway. Don't care. Keep taking it. And if you want to drag the royal family out, and we know you want to, because you're a murderous lot, in the middle of Hyde Park, have some more mass executions, and then set Buckingham Palace on fire, I am now ambivalent. Have at it. Because if you're too stupid to realise or do anything about the complete annihilation of everything that made up what you once called Great Britain, then I'll shed no tears for you, sausage fingers. I really won't. But that's just my opinion. I am officially an ex-monarchist. I am an oath breaker. But as Thomas Paine said, let them call me a rebel and I welcome it, but I would suffer the misery of demons were I to make a whore of my own soul. They can have that like they had everything else. But what say you if you disagree and you think we should persevere with the royal family on the off chance that William and Kate are possibly going to take the reins very soon and do a slightly less incompetent job of it, and they aren't strangely in love with foreign religions and importing millions and millions of strangers to throw working class people out of the communities they've lived in for centuries? You please let me know in the comments, and then I can respond by pointing out that Diane Abbott would beat you on Countdown, and there we can call it a day. All right, thanks for watching, everyone. Have a marvellous Friday night. I'll see you all for a live stream tomorrow at 7 p.m. UK. Be there or be square. Toodle pip. Cheers.